did that because I knew it was going to piss you off.
That needs to stop the recording because you said piss.
Oh my!
How's everybody's week going?
Good. So far, so good. How about yours?
Person programming my wads has quit sending me anything.
Trying to send you a message.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day it is anymore, man.
Man, like, I know. I'm
It's
going
Thursday, it's Sunday.
It's hump day, bro.
I have not eaten.
Don't talk to me.
Takeout.
Oh, okay. It's Wednesday.
Why aren't you eating takeout?
I don't enjoy takeout. I don't like.
So you're not supporting local business?
No, it's not that. I would if the food.
Yeah, I drive
tasted
by
the
and I
same.
throw $5 on it.
If the food tasted the same. I don't think takeout tastes as good.
Wendy's tastes the same whether you eat it
I have
inside
not
or
eaten Wendy's in
outside. How long?
What is your favorite fast food restaurant?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. What's second?
Second would probably be Wendy's.
And
Wait,
you
you
haven't
haven't
eaten
had
Wendy's
Wendy's in
in
a
how
year.
long?
I haven't eaten Wendy's probably in
3 weeks.
a decade.
And it's your second favorite fast food restaurant.
Wow.
Single ketchup only, biggie fry, biggie sweet tea.
You do realize
That's what I used to
with,
get all the time when I was young.
Say it one more time.
with that
Single
logic,
ketchup only, biggie fry, biggie sweet tea.
you just made everything else you say today, no one's going to believe you.
No, being straight up, I used to love Wendy's, but I just don't eat fast food.
Frosties, did you love the Frosties?
I did, but I don't eat fast food like
What's your top 2 restaurants in Goldsboro?
Jay's, because I love sushi.
Okay.
Love sushi.
You've never taken me to Jay's.
Yeah, we can go to Jay's sometime.
When do you mean never? Hold on. First of all,
Never taken
every
me to
every time Jay's has come up, you always say, I don't want to go to Jay's.
I've never told you I didn't want to go to Jay's.
False. That is not true.
I think that is not true.
Name
All
one
those
time. One time.
I can give you about 4 after
One
Saturday
time.
trainings.
That's because I go grocery shopping after Saturday training.
But you'd go eat somewhere else.
Wants to go somewhere fast.
Yeah. What's your
You know what
favorite?
you know what the difference is? Is that everyone going to Jay's doesn't have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old to take with them.
Oh, so
you know
they
what
don't get
my
to eat?
you know what my 2-year-old and 5-year-old where they want to go eat?
McDonald's.
Sam's Club Pizza, which I don't like eating that either because it makes my joints hurt.
The cheese
Tomato.
sticks to my joints.
It's a nightshade.
Oh
It's
yeah, the
inflammatory.
nightshades. Coming up on episode 4,
I know.
we dive into the effects of nightshades on inflammation in the joint,
Peppers. Tomatoes.
the joint peppers,
Joint peppers.
eggplant. For
Okay,
all
so you gave us
vegans
one
out
of your
there.
favorite restaurants in Goldsboro. What's number 2?
The one we go to a lot is Chili's. My
Okay.
kids love it.
Baby
And
back
I love the
ribs.
food there. But the
You try to say it.
the
Baby back
wait
ribs.
staff there is very nice
Oh, yeah.
because we always sit at the same table, so we always
Kevin.
get the same.
Kevin and waitstaff.
Monet is her name.
You always eat at the same table?
Always.
So if you go, there's no wait, but somebody's at your table. Do you ask them to move or do you wait?
We'll sit at a different table. Sorry, Dan. But usually we pick times. We eat at weird times.
You said
Oh yeah, like 6:05.
a.m. a.m.
Chili's isn't open at 6 a.m.
No, that's the point.
But I'm definitely going to gorge myself on sushi once this is over with.
Okay.
From Jay's or somewhere else.
Well,
Is Jay's open right now making sushi?
They are.
But takeout's not the same. He already addressed this.
And I'll get takeout there sometimes, but I like to go in and order it.
Your house is literally less than 5 miles from Jay's.
I know.
It will taste the same when you get home.
I like to go in and
kitchen.
order it.
Yeah, you like the ambiance.
Yeah. I don't like to.
Certain je ne sais quoi about sitting inside the restaurant and having the food brought to you. The plating. Visual eater.
I am. Plus, I have to see the food, the takeout, before I leave.
To eat the food.
Because if I get
Seafood
home and
diet.
the order's messed up, That's a bad day.
Yeah. When's the last time your order got messed up somewhere?
I don't know, man.
What are your top 2 favorite restaurants in Goldsboro?
I don't know. We go to Texas Roadhouse. My boy Tevin works at Texas Roadhouse. He's my box brother. You know what a box brother is?
I do not.
He's in the box with me on Friday night. I think a lot of him. He's one of the assistant managers there. So we go to Texas Roadhouse and see him when we go out. And then I really don't know what my other restaurant is. I know Lindsay loves the Olive Garden. I hate the Olive Garden. So,
This comes up like every time we sit down.
He does not like
He hates
Italians.
Olive Garden.
He does not like Italian people. All right, guys. Let's time
What
in
about
here.
you?
Huh?
We didn't ask
Yeah,
you.
we didn't
What's
ask
your
you.
favorite restaurant?
Oh.
You love some Chick-fil-A.
I do like Chick-fil-A.
And you like some
I actually
Chipotle.
have Chick-fil-A waiting my house.
And you like some Chipotle as well.
I do like Chipotle. Wouldn't say they're top 2 though. Laughing Owl's up there for me.
Okay.
That Pineapple Street chicken add shrimp is good.
That's a good place. They have a nice variety.
Yeah,
They have good chicken pad thai.
almost too much variety.
Yes. You can't go there.
overwhelming
You have to go
amount.
there knowing what you want.
Yeah.
how come you never take me to the Laughing Owl?
I tried one time. You said no.
False. Again, that never happened. So,
9 weeks ago.
no.
I have an impeccable memory, dude, for things I care about.
Also, you care about me now?
Yeah, if I forgot about you, dude, it means you're not.
Then just like you've been forgetting to send me programming.
Yeah, good one.
He's sending you a message.
2 and 2. 2 and 2 always equals 4. I don't know what my second one would be. Probably Taco Bell.
What do you get at Taco Bell?
Oh no! It's not just about
In all honesty,
vomiting
I
in
like
my
to
mouth.
get shredded chicken burrito, or a grilled chicken burrito, but like the small kind, and take the sauce out, and it's just rice. And I mean, of course, it's not like the healthiest rice and tortilla and stuff.
Hey, gotta hit up that protein bowl,
I'm
bud.
just kidding. It's not Taco Bell. I can't even tell you the last time I had Taco Bell.
There's a Taco Bell cup in your car right now.
False. No, there is not.
Yes, there is.
Dude, this guy is just the king of saying things, man. You just using words.
Is it?
I just learned how to talk
on
the
me.
other day.
Have
That's
you
why it's so
cleaned out your
slow.
Oh yeah, my car's clean, bro. Go check it out. Bunch of shoes in the back. Bunch of sandals. I did not know I had that many sandals. But your boy is ready for the beach. I could walk on like 2 separate beaches at the same time if I had 4 legs. I mean, that's how many sandals I had, dude. And never step in crabs. Or catch them. I'd probably say my second one, in all honesty. I guess I would have to say Chipotle just because of the volume that I go there.
Yeah, you go there a lot.
Yeah, at least once a week. Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue's up there too, though. That's right out here towards Rosewood. I do like that barbecue. I
know what's different about that barbecue?
What?
I'm not even trying to be funny. Smithfield's Chicken Barbecue, their barbecue's all shoulder.
Oh. No
Fun
butt.
fact.
Fun fact.
All shoulder, no rump.
Yep.
Boy. Well, interesting. Highly provocative.
Like our question for the day.
Our question, our topic for today, boys. How do you know when your cardio has improved? How do you know? Better.
Shane, you're our in-house cardio expert.
I'm feeling that there's another comment yet to come.
No, I was waiting for you to make like Aladdin and just.
Watched that movie the other night too.
I've not seen that one in a while. So I guess it depends on what type of athlete you're talking about. I think your metrics for what is improved cardio depends on where you're starting. So if you're starting with someone who is, we'll use running for example, who who runs, they're just wanting to get better at running, their metrics for improved cardio is going to be much different than someone who has not put on a pair of running shoes and, ran for 5 years or never been a runner. So it depends on your person. So the never been a runner person is a lot, I think, less technical in knowing what improved cardio is. Theirs is more of a feel. Like you go out and run 200 meters and then you have to walk, and then you do that, keep doing that, and keep increasing your distance over a course of 6 weeks. And then you can find yourself running 800 meters before you have to walk. Well, your cardio has obviously improved. But that doesn't hold the same for someone who is a runner or who used to be a runner and got out of it as much, didn't do it nearly as much, and then is trying to get back into it. Those are different. That comes much more into your pace, your split times, and that would be more of a metric for someone who is more familiar with the movement, the kinesiology of running.
Yeah. Do you think that running for somebody who is novice to running, like you were talking about, do you think that those improvements will come relatively quickly as compared to what they think they may come?
Yes. If they do it frequent enough. You can't say, okay, I'm going to start running and run once a week and expect to get better. Yeah. If you're just starting out. I think for someone that's just starting out, you'd have to at least to see a measurable improvement in a pretty quick time, 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks even. You need to do some form of running 3 times a week. I'm not saying go out and run 200 meters once, 3 times a week. That's not going to do squat. You have to, I would say, at least put 20 minutes of training 3 times a week into running to improve.
20 minutes of training, but that 20 minutes of training doesn't have to be running as in running for 20 minutes.
No. No, I mean, it wouldn't be like do a WOD and then it takes you 10 minutes and then go run for 10. But it would be some form of cardio intense work for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because if you could do it on the rower, you could do it on a bike. But running is just something everyone can do because everyone can.
Well, it supports your own body weight too. You're not relying on that to push you forward.
Yeah, but you don't need equipment to go run.
Yeah. I think we kind of briefly talked about it before, not on camera, but so cardio is just your ability for your body to take in oxygen, supply the muscles, right? So if you're looking to improve your cardio, and how you know is when that is happening, when your body's doing a better job of that. I mean, that's the simplest way, right? If you never ran with a timer or something, your only way of measuring would be, okay, I'm able to increase my duration, right? Like my distance. So I think if you're looking at purely cardio from like an endurance standpoint, the longer you can go at a similar pace or a reasonably similar pace, I think is the baseline for how do you know if your cardio is improved. And how you do that in CrossFit is if you could take a workout you did in 12 minutes. Let's say you're doing an AMRAP. You did a 12-minute AMRAP and you finished all the rounds and you got done. And you're literally like, I could keep going with this. Then your cardio is probably improving, right? Like you could do it for 15 or 20 or 23 or 24, right? If you're running and you can run for 2 miles without stopping, and then 3 weeks later you can run for 2.5 miles without stopping, your cardio is improving. If you're just looking at it from a purely endurance standpoint, Like obviously a bunch of different things play into it. So how do you know when your cardio is improving? It's just probably based on the duration or distance you can go before you start seeing decay in your rate of performance. That'd be the first one. Now, if you are tracking stuff in pacing, then you start factoring in like, okay, am I able to go faster but still sustain that within that time frame? So maybe you did a 12-minute AMRAP, but instead of doing 4 rounds, you're able to do 5. Because instead of doing, I'm not going to do the math on this, but let's just throw out a random number. Instead of doing 2.5-minute rounds, you're doing 2 minutes or 2:15, right? And you're able to sustain that without decaying out, right? And you still maybe had that same feeling of, well, I can probably go another couple rounds, right? Then that's how you know from a Metcon standpoint that your cardio is improving, like in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. And it's true. It's different versus a Metcon than more monostructural movements like running or rowing or biking.
Yeah.
Because Metcon in general is going to have more muscle systems involved.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be requiring more energy from oxygen to make ATP to fuel your muscles. And it depends too, like when I said earlier, running 200 meters and then you got to walk. Well, you're going to have to, no one's cardio is going to get better by running 10 rounds of 200 meters with a minute rest in between. Because what happens is you have to understand your energy systems, and until you get past 90 seconds, most people can run 200 meters in a minute and a half. Most people.
Yeah.
Right? So until you get well past that 90 seconds, you're not utilizing the energy system in your body that actually improves cardio.
Yeah.
Right? So that requires, that's why we talk about the distance being more important. And it's a different thing too, you know, endurance versus your capacity for speed.
Yeah.
Like somebody that can run a 6.5 minute mile is not in better cardio shape than someone who can run a 5K in
24,
30 minutes even.
Yeah.
Say it's a slow 10-minute mile. You know, I would argue that the person...
That's assuming that the person that runs a 6-minute mile or 6.5-minute mile dies.
Only does.
Yeah,
Yes.
dies completely
Right,
at the
exactly.
end of the 6.5
Yeah, only
minute
does
mile.
miles.
Yes.
Like if they don't ever train faster than a mile,
Right.
then...
Or longer than a mile.
Yeah, longer than a mile, then it's not saying that they're in better shape just because they can run a mile faster. Or not better cardio because they can run a mile faster.
Now, the caveat to that is for those mid-range speeds, like that mile, you're going to be hard-pressed to get close to your peak genetic point if you don't build up the base first. If you don't have that base to go with it, you know what I mean? Like, you can probably get pretty good at running 400s with never touching 10Ks.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You can probably get there without touching 5Ks. I'm not as much into the runner world as probably, honestly, the two of you have been. But
if you're a really good 400-meter runner, we're talking somebody who's collegiate level runner or above in the 400-meter, the bulk of your work is going to revolve around sprint work.
yeah.
Which is explosive.
Yes.
Because you're
It's
only
gonna be
worried
the
about
energy
going for a
system.
minute.
Yes,
Especially
exactly.
at the collegiate level, if you're not seeing
You're
those
never
guys
getting
above a minute.
right. So you're never getting into that endurance energy system.
Yeah. But if you're talking you got to run 800s or a mile,
Right.
you need some of that aerobic base to push you to that point. Like if you can only get so fast and have that so fast and powerful carry you for so long.
Right.
So then you could argue like with that person what it's kind of it's not really an argument. It's kind of like a good idea to kind of show you the difference if you're thinking about it in terms of like CrossFit, like in the Metcons. Like if you can do a workout with relatively moderate skilled movements for you and you can do the first round really fast, and maybe you can do the second round really fast, but then rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 get really super slow. What was that open workout from this year that was a good indicator of that one?
It's the first one, I believe. I can look it up. But they do early on each year.
What was the long one from this year?
It was 19 minutes. It was...
Last year it was the rowing wall ball workout, and I don't know what.
No. The double under thruster toes bar.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was a perfect example. Is 6 reps of toes bar. So maybe you're going to get some muscular fatigue from that. I'd argue not, though, if you had good cardio. 4 thrusters at 50-35 was RX, and 30 or 20 double unders. So it's really quick, fast movements, right? And if you had a decent amount of skill, each of those movements weren't going to tax you individually, and you're going to have like 4 or 5 seconds rest between, right? Each movement. And so if someone had good respiratory endurance, and given they had enough strength capacity in those movements, moderate skill level could do toes to bar. Like, I think if you can do 15 toes to bar in a row in that workout, and you had a great capacity and endurance, like ability to clear fatigue with a good cardiorespiratory endurance, you could do that whole workout on broken toes to bar. Like, I saw videos of people and high level CrossFit coaches talk about people are blown up on toes to bar. It's not because they weren't good at toes to bar. It's because they didn't have the endurance for their body to clear the fatigue, right? Because if you took someone who was really good at toes to bar, like they do 30 in a row, but if they started going too fast,
right,
the toes to bar only became a problem because you didn't want to jump up and hang on the bar because you felt like your body was being dragged down from fatigue. So that's like a good indicator of, like, you need to build up this base first, which I think comes through in Metcons pacing yourself and going a little bit slower out of the gate, right? Where that first round doesn't really affect you that much, okay? It's like if you're doing a 12-minute workout, 12-minute AMRAP, you shouldn't get to the end of the first round and be like, oh, shit. Right? You should get to the first round and be like, workout's getting started, right? If it's a long one. I'm not saying do that in a Fran. In a Fran, you should get to the end of 21 and be like, I don't want to pick up this bar. That means you're doing it right.
Right.
That means you're doing Fran right. But if you're doing a 12-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute workout, and it's kind of like if you're running a 5K and you ran the first mile and you said, there's no way I can hold on to this mile pace, then you're not doing it right. Right? You went out too high. Right? It's not like you're not going to hold on to it.
Right.
You're going to end up slower than if you went 6.5, 9, 11 on your 5K versus someone who went 8.88.
Right.
8.88 just beat you.
Yep. And the person that ran 8.88 could have ran 8, and 7.5 more.
Right. Yeah.
Because they've paced themselves enough that they have more at the end than they did throughout the whole thing to really turn it on.
Right.
And that's the same way in a long Metcon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your first round, second round, third round, you want to try to keep everything same amount of time. Mm-hmm. And then that last minute of the workout, or even 30 seconds of the workout, really have enough energy left to turn it on and churn out faster at the end.
And that's why we'll do things like interval workouts where the point is to go too fast. Because we're going to build in the rest for you and let you cycle that fatigue out.
Right.
And the people who are more cardio, have a better cardio base, will push fatigue out faster out of their body. Right? So like Laura Degavich will recover from a bout of high intensity work faster than I will.
Right.
She's got better cardio.
If you give her 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, she's going to go all day long.
Right. She's gonna
Unless the weight's really heavy.
Yeah, she's going to maintain her high level longer than someone else is going to maintain their high level. Right? So.
Yeah, that's the same way. Perkins is an excellent example of that. Mm-hmm. And Jennifer would be great if she weren't working to be here to talk about this, because this is what she does.
She is the in-house
expert.
She is
the in-house expert on cardio. Actually, more, I would say, on endurance.
Yes.
And she knows how to build endurance in others. Whenever you talk about somebody who has never run before, it's important to be able to know how to tell them, okay, they're like, okay, I want to be able to run. Okay, the point is not to go out and first day, you haven't ran in your entire life, and you go out, put on your running shoes, and start running.
Yeah.
That would be a mistake,
Right.
setting you up for failure.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get frustrated. So, the best way to do that is, all right, can you actually walk for 40 minutes to an hour?
Yeah.
All right. If you can walk, then all right, then let's start building in intervals, just like you said, to get to that. I want to be able to run 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, run 10 minutes, walk 5. You'd start slow, run for a minute, rest, walk for 2 to 3. Not letting your heart rate get all the way back down in the walking spell and get back to a normal breathing pattern. You'd still want an elevated heart rate slightly and be able to have like a conversational breathing, be able to talk in a couple word sentences while you're walking, like that, and then start back running again. And then the next week you shave it down. You say add 15 seconds to 30 seconds to your run. So you're going to walk, or you're going to run for a minute and 15, minute and a half, but you're still going to keep that interval the same. So if you did run 1, walk 2 the first week, the next week you're going to run 1.5, walk 1.5.
Yeah.
So you're keeping that, and you allow yourself to recover and clear out that fatigue in order to do better. And so by the end of 4 to 6 weeks, if you are training to run or whatever monostructural movement you're doing for cardio, at the end of 4 to 6 weeks, if you're doing that, trying that every week for 3 times a week, you're probably going to get to the point where you can, it may not be a fast pace, but you could probably go for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about that novice person, that person that's relatively new to running. That's the approach that we would take with them as coaches. And it may seem, you're looking at it and you go out there and you run that minute that first day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to run for 40 minutes. But if you commit to taking that approach with it, that's going to move quicker than you think it is. You're going to get to that end destination much quicker for most people than what you think you will.
Yeah.
So,
rather than setting yourself up for failure, going out there and you run until you're about to collapse after 5 minutes, and then you're going to walk for 20. I mean, you're not going to see the improvements that you would if you pick it up in small pieces. You're not going to be able to visualize those or even have the psyche to kind of deal with that, because that's a huge slap in the face. Yeah. And if you have to think about it too, running for 40 minutes, no matter how slow you do it, if you run a 10-minute mile or, even slower, you're still going to put in 2.5, 3 miles. No matter how slow you, because, somewhere around a 13-minute pace to run a 5K in 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's like right. 13.
It's 39. Yeah. So most people can walk a mile in 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So a 13-minute mile running pace, you're still talking a large distance, a lot of endurance that you're having to build to get to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of when people think cardio, I think that's what they think of most versus what's in a Metcon, which is totally different. But being able to do a 40-minute run is going to completely improve your cardio performance in especially a body weight Metcon.
Yeah. The ability to move your own weight, which is why running is so big deal, because
you support your own.
You support your own weight. I mean, Murph doesn't seem as bad when you can jog long distances.
Right.
Because you're used to going at that pace a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. It's the opposite end of the spectrum of lifting weights, 4 to 5 reps at a time.
Right.
Right. If you go for a 100-meter sprint, that's the equivalent of doing that set of 5 on weights. Right. Doesn't mean you never do sets of 20.
Right.
On a goblet squat or something, just because you only back squat for sets of 5. You want to have all around fitness. People forget that the heart and the lungs are muscles. What moves the lungs is muscles. You know what I mean? So if you can run for 40 minutes, that means those muscles are capable of contracting, clearing out fatigue, clearing out metabolic waste, and then recycling over, right? And they're capable of redoing that, right? And like, obviously you couldn't 1 rep max back squat over and over, like back to back. Like, do one and then stand it up and then do another one. Just like you couldn't 100 meter sprint and then 100 meter sprint at the same speed 30 seconds later.
Right.
9 times.
Right, 9 times. Like sub 9 seconds. World record stuff.
Right.
So it's the same thing. So you want to have that long duration endurance because that's going to help build the capacity of your shorter stuff.
Right.
Especially in CrossFit.
And you're going to find that athletes are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, based on your genetic composition, someone who's really good at endurance may never be a speedy, you know, Metcon person.
Right, yeah.
Like for the shorter workouts, for like, say, Fran or, I don't know, for a workout that's supposed to take sub 7 minutes, they may never be like a 5-minute Fran based on their genetic composition, right? So
I think they can get 5, maybe not a sub 3.
Sub 3, okay.
Yeah.
But if they're an endurance athlete, you know, your muscle fibers
Right.
are different. You know, your composition is different. Like Perkins is going to have a lot more slow twitch fibers. She can go out and run and just, you know, come back in 2 minutes later, start a Metcon.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, her ability for fast twitch fibers to put out a lot of muscular performance, like power at one setting is not going to be as high as, say, somebody like you, right? Because you can move a heavy load quickly, and so it's just different muscle fibers that sometimes the athletes are always going to be different, and set in certain categories, I guess.
It's all intertwined. Yeah. So, how do you know when your cardio is improved? When it's improved.
VO2 max testing.
Yeah, VO2 max testing. I would say just track everything you do. Track everything you do. Write it down and see how your things that require you to breathe lightly, moderately, and heavily are affected by the amount of weeks you've been working out. If you're running, that's easiest. I mean, you can just pick a distance.
Right.
I would say over a mile. Once you get under a mile, you dive too much anaerobically, and so you'll have more factors to think about. Like mile, north of that, pick a distance. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be your typical. It could be 2 miles. It could be 1.5, whatever. And over time, does that improve?
Is your time improved?
Yeah. Or you can say, I'm able to run a mile at this pace and then push it by 200 meters every couple weeks and see if you can hold that.
Right. In the last 200 meters of the mile.
And Metcon's a lot by feel, but you can also pick benchmark workouts like that. Like take note of how you did on a workout that maybe was mostly cardio or was, you know, cardio with weights, you know, typical CrossFit workout, but is very measurable, like a named workout, a benchmark workout. And
Helen.
Yeah, Helen. I think Helen, in my opinion, if you have the skill to do pull up, or even if you're doing jumping pull ups, as long as you keep your standard the same both times, I think Helen might be the best one in my opinion because it's short, but it's right in that mile range. I think it's one of the closest things matching to just running a mile, because if you look at Helen times versus people mile times, Helen's going to be a little bit higher than the people who are doing Helen or running miles pretty fast. But I think you'll see a lot of them match up, like maybe Helen's 1 minute back from your mile time. I think you'll see that pretty commonly. I've noticed that looking into Wodify. I actually looked at that a couple weeks ago. Like a lot of people's mile time was 1 minute under their Helen time, which tells you that like there's a lot of carryover crossover there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are awesome things. Anybody else got anything to add on how How do you know when your cardio's improved?
I think so. I think we got it.
Sweet. All right.
All right.
Clutchville. Let's dive into some questions.